I told you we were going to come back to these three, right? Well, look up at the top. I call them personal branding influencers. Let's switch that over to industry influencers. These three have definitely influenced what I would call the personal branding industry. Let's talk about who the industry influencers are in your industry. We need some room though, so let's put these people to the side. There goes Kirsten, goodbye Dan, and goodbye William. Who in your industry is the person who is perceived as the expert? Is it you? Is it somebody that you work with? If it is somebody that you work with, do you have a good relationship with them? Who is perceived as reliable, great to work with, likable, someone who can get the job done, someone who's respected? The people on the right of this screen are the industry influencers in their own industry, and I would say that everything on the left-hand side could be said about the people on the right. Who are the people in your industry who have these characteristics? Let's flip it from the positive to the negative. Who in your industry is the joke? Not the jokester, not the funny person, but the person who really shouldn't have been hired. Somebody who just needs to move on. Who's the person who is annoying or smells bad? I know it's kind of embarrassing to talk about this. I remember in one of my earliest jobs when I was a teenager, our boss had horrible breath. I really don't remember much about her except that nobody wanted her to come close and talk to us because her breath was so bad. Isn't it sad that that's what her brand was amongst all the people that she worked with? Who in your industry is the lazy person or the person who's two-faced? In other words, they say one thing to you, but something else to the boss or the customer or other colleagues. This is a person who simply can't be trusted. Who in your industry or company is the person that people say, "Who's that?" even though they've worked there for 5 or 10 or 20 years. Nobody knows who they are because they haven't made any visible impact. As we talked about earlier, people perceive you a certain way. You could be perceived with positive characteristics or negative characteristics, but you're perceived a certain way. If you can put names next to each of these people, then you are perceiving those people a certain way, and that's the brand that they have, at least with you, but probably with other people too. How do you want to be perceived in your industry, or your company, or the office that you work in? I invite you to make your personal brand something that you've intentionally created and not something that just happened.